Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, June 2nd, 2023. Sevilla are now seven-time Europa League champions. We've got the FA Cup final this weekend. The NFL season your off-season continues to progress. And as it goes for about 8 months of the year, the MLB season rolls on. Luke, are you excited? Are you happy? I think there's a lot of great stuff going on in sports right now.
I'm super happy. The Yankees are proving that they don't need their best players to be a good team. So that's awesome. We have
Yeah.
a pretty big injury list and a lot of wins in May.
Yeah, it does look like a couple guys are going to be coming back for this weekend series, though.
Yeah, I have read into that a little bit. So I mean, you would think that we could only get better, but we are the Yankees, so who knows?
Yeah, that's fair. Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get into this MLB recap. I got to
Let's do it.
start it off with this because, uh, you know, as somebody who is very engulfed in kind of the sports media, industry itself, this is super interesting to me. So the Diamond Sports Group, which are the owners of Bally Sports for all of the MLB teams, they are the official partner for just about a vast majority of the league. Plays their games on Bally Sports, any of their regional channels, and they skipped a payment on the Padres, and this allowed the Padres to get out of their contract with Diamond Sports Group, and now all their games will be picked up by MLB for the rest of the season. And I have a feeling this is going to be kind of the first domino in the entire collapse of Bally Sports because I think me and you talked about it a little bit before the season started that they were most likely going to file bankruptcy. And it looks like this is kind of the first domino falling. This whole situation is very weird, though.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? It looks like you might actually be able to, watch all of your team's games if you have the MLB like streaming service, though.
Well, there's a little caveat there, sir.
Oh no.
The MLB couldn't possibly ever do anything right by their fans. So, of course, even if you live in the San Diego area or whatever zone you need, I believe it's Bally Sports, like West or Bally Sports something. I can't quite remember what their regional one is. But if you live in the region that gets that, if you already have like an MLB TV every team subscription, so like what me and you use, where we can watch every team except the one that's in our region, you still can't watch the Padres. You have to buy the one that is for Padres games, which costs an extra, I think, $75 for the rest of the season.
So just go to the game, basically, if you're local.
Yeah, which
That's what I'm hearing.
also like through other cable providers, you can watch the games, and then I believe through like one of the smaller streaming services you can as well. But this whole situation just so fucked, and like Bally is actively like in court right now, kind of I believe against the MLB and some of their teams, arguing that there's a couple of teams that they don't need to pay their full contract because of like low viewership. That's what they're trying to fight for right now,
Interesting.
which is an
Wow.
interesting move by a company that's going bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
But yeah, this whole situation is so crazy, but I have a feeling that there's probably going to be a couple more teams, as we go on throughout the summer, that their games just get picked up by MLB.
Yeah, I could honestly totally see that. Hopefully they do us right though, as that happens.
Yeah, it's not. They're never going to. I'm accepting it.
Well, I'm gonna keep it with the Padres, but I'm gonna go to the game of baseball, not the streaming services of baseball.
Fair enough.
So, have you ever heard of this kid, Ethan Salas, Grayson?
I have.
Yeah, he went 2 for 3 and scored the go-ahead run in his Single A debut for the Padres organization. I'm keeping it in San Diego. He's 16 years old.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It is absolutely crazy. Um, I feel like other than baseball and like soccer, we don't see things like this.
No, not at all. I mean, you may have a NBA player come out of high school, but even they're not going to be 16 years old, and
Yeah.
I feel like that even rarely happens anymore.
Yeah, well, it rarely happens in baseball and even in soccer as well. Like the only other sport I can even think of where guys, really anybody is playing at the highest level or getting to the highest level at that young of an age is like tennis. Like
Yeah,
it is crazy to see a 16-year-old playing against arguably a bunch of grown men.
yeah. No, you're exactly right, and I'm going to keep it with me, Grayson. Sorry, it's the Luke takeover, man. I got to keep it with the young guys.
I'm
In
all for
Joyce,
it.
in fucking Joyce, man.
Yep.
If you don't know the name, go ahead and learn it. His
Yep.
debut with the Angels was absolutely electric. Pitched 1 inning, had 2 strikeouts. He did give up a hit, but this kid topped out at 102. And
I believe it was
I mean, if you're
102.6 to be precise.
yeah, so if you want to round up 103, helps his case even more. I mean, and I know it's fun to meme the Angels because they have Shohei, they have Mike Trout, but they're like a barely 500 team. But as an outsider looking into that organization, it's really cool when they have other guys step up because I mean, they're I know we've been saying it for years, but they got to be like a couple more steps away from being a playoff contender.
They arguably they are one this year. They've looked surprisingly good, and if they stay kind of where they're at right now, I have no problem saying that they are one of the better teams. Though they're third in the AL West, they're still 30-27, which is very good. Like I don't think it quite gets them into like a wild card spot at the moment, but I do think that they have a shot. Right now, yeah, they're 3 games out of the wild card. The problem really is that the AL East is just so fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of looking like the wild card could be a AL East matchup, kind of.
Yeah, it could. The Blue Jays are 3 games out. If the Blue Jays catch up to the Astros, then the Orioles, Yankees, and Blue Jays would all have it.
That's insane.
But let me talk history because I love talking history when it comes to
Cool.
baseball.
Here we go.
I'm gonna let you give this a random guess, but I'm sure you won't have the answer. The Cincinnati Reds, with their win over the Red Sox the other day, got their first series win against the Red Sox since when?
First series win against the Red Sox.
Yes. Since what year?
Those are, I think, going to be two older franchises. I don't
Yep.
really know about the Reds, but I'm going to just put them there anyway.
They
Fuck
are
it.
historically very good.
1903.
Okay. Little too far. But
Okay.
their first series win against the Red Sox since the 1975 World Series.
Wow.
How
Unbelievable.
crazy is that? That the
A
last
World
time
Series, too.
the last time the Reds beat the Red Sox was in the World Series in 1975.
Wow. It's been a minute for the Reds, hasn't it?
Yeah, they have certainly been held off by their red counterparts.
Oh man. I guess it's definitely not history, but kind of a cool stat here that I have. Zach Gallen at home. You know that decent, I guess that okay pitcher on the
Oh
Diamondbacks.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
He has a .66 ERA at home. He has 4 scoreless outings in 6 starts at Chase Field this year. So, damn, if you're watching a Diamondbacks game in Arizona, expect Zach Gallen and the defense to be off the field pretty soon because he's not letting up any runs.
Yeah, well, let's keep it with the NL West because there's one team that, yeah, they're getting it done, but maybe not in the best fashion. The Los Angeles Dodgers last season allowed 10 plus runs in 2 separate games. That's it, last season. And at this point in the season, they've already done it 7 times,
Wow.
most recently being the Nationals.
Dang. Okay.
But they still sit atop their division with or actually they don't. They're tied at the moment with the Diamondbacks. I believe the Diamondbacks have the edge in the head to head, but at 34 and 23, you would not assume that they've given up 10 runs 7 times.
No, that's pretty bizarre. And
Yeah.
I guess you're getting that from their thriller with the Rays on Sunday. What was that, like 11-10 final?
Yes, it was.
That's
That
insane.
series in general was great.
Yes. Let's see what else I got here. Aaron Judge in the month of May, 11 home runs, 24 RBI, and a 1.377 OPS. It's actually, if you look at where he's at now and compare it to where he was same time last year, which was his MVP season, he's actually a little bit better. And I don't know if you guys can hear this on the podcast, but yes, I am knocking on wood. I can take anything I can get as a Yankees fan to protect my boys.
I
But Aaron Judge looks serious this year too.
I can confirm that they did hear you knocking on wood. But
Awesome.
I'll get to Judge when we talk Team of the Month. I'll just let you know that. But
Oh,
let's talk about Twins pitcher Jorge Lopez. He has not been the Lopez that we've talked about so much with the Twins, but you certainly got to talk about this one. So, just a crazy moment. So he gives up back-to-back home runs. They have like a 6-0 lead. Okay, he gives up back-to-back home runs. Then he walks a batter. Then he hits a batter. They pull him out of the game, goes to the dugout, and is pissed off. You know, makes sense. Goes to pour water on his head and accidentally pours Gatorade in his hair. Then pours water on his head and then punches the cooler. Like it was the
that
cooler's
punch was
fault that it
mean.
dispensed Gatorade.
Dude, in that moment it was.
Yeah, that's fair. The world
I
was against him, and that cooler started it.
I literally watched that like 3 hours ago. That was hilarious. Um I want to go back to the Reds here, and because they have some really cool stuff going on with their youngsters. So on Tuesday, Ellie De La Cruz hit a walk-off home run in the AAA. By the way, if you're listening, Reds, go ahead and call that guy up. He might, help you win some games.
Mm.
He's absolutely phenomenal. 20 minutes later, Jose Barrero hit his first career grand slam in a 9-8 win over Boston. So, Reds got some youngsters that are, in the offense for him, man. Doing a good job.
Oh yeah, dude. The Reds, because of how bad they have been for quite some time, have really compiled some fantastic prospects, and they've done such a great job of kind of giving them their time. They definitely aren't a team that just like reaches on a guy, brings him up at the wrong time. They
Yeah,
let him sit down there, they let him learn. And I know, from what we've seen from Hunter Green this year, record wise, he's not looking great. But from when you watch him pitch, you understand that he is one of the most talented players in the league. He's 1-4, primarily off the back of his team being dog shit, but he's got 80 strikeouts already. He's got a 4.18 ERA, which isn't all that bad. And he's really looked very good. You know, he looks just a sound pitcher, but he has, he can top out at like 105.
yeah. It's phenomenal.
And yeah,
Um,
Ellie De La Cruz has got to come up soon. Oh
Yeah, he
my
does,
God.
and I'm actually looking at him now. I didn't realize that he was actually a pretty similar build to O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, they're both like oversized, um, pretty
Shortstops.
fast. Yeah, shortstop.
Yeah, very interesting there. But so I'm going to talk about a guy that I know you like a lot, and I'm going to talk about Isaiah Kiner Falefa, Mr.
Oh yeah,
IKF.
the
Said that
super
he
utility.
exactly, but we're about to talk about something he's adding to his game, and that's obviously the offense. So he said that he's revamped his batting approach, and well, shit. He turned in a 4-hit, 4 RBI versus the Mariners on Tuesday, which was pretty nice. Another interesting tidbit about him, not about his batting though. He started 24 games in the outfield this season. He's never played that position in the MLB before. He's like 28 years old.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I just I always kind of thought that IKF was more of like your normal utility guy until I really started paying attention to him. He literally could be played anywhere and figure it out and play it at a sound MLB level. It's incredible.
Yeah, he's just got the skill to be pretty good just about anywhere on the field. But like you said, the hitting wasn't quite there early this season. It's really been bad, like very bad early this
Yeah.
season. But if he's getting his shit together, he's going to be a very valuable player to any franchise.
Yeah. I love IKF. I hope we can keep him around. I think he might be on his last year this season, so definitely a guy I want to see in the pinstripes next season.
Yeah, for sure. But I got to talk about this real quick because it's mind blowing, honestly. So the Athletics walked it off against the Braves on Tuesday. That makes their fifth walk-off win of the season. Yes, I said fifth of the Athletics season. They're tied with the Yankees for the most walk-off wins this season. The weird part is that was their 12th win. They have 5 walk-offs in 12 wins.
Only doing it big.
Well, I think it's more that they can't score, and then they just end up scoring there at the end. But that is just wild.
It's a scheme to get more fans because they
I,
always have the exciting walk-offs.
yeah, it's so exciting to go to those Oakland Athletics games, dude. They've got to turn down the volume on their pitch comms because people can hear it.
Oh, I heard that. That's just so sad.
It really is, and they happen to be on the worst start in MLB since in like 150 years. So
Pretty
that
cool
kind of
record to
sucks.
have.
Uh,
Um,
cool is
you
a
don't think
loose
so?
term.
Oh, no, 150 years hadn't been done in a long time.
That
You
is
and I
true.
weren't alive.
Correct. We could have been born and dead and born again in that time, like 3
Yes.
times.
Um, this is actually something I was taking notes on this, and I realized that I should have been doing this a long time ago, Grayson. I'm going to start my own little new segment on this podcast every time we do MLB recap, and I'm going to cover Carlos Rondon's injury progression every single time that I'm on the podcast. So every Thursday, episode comes out Friday, we're going to be talking about Carlos Rondon because it might be a while. Who knows at this point?
Yeah, this could be a long-standing segment.
Can. So Carlos Rondon, luckily has resumed throwing from a bullpen mound. When the Yankees go West Coast this weekend to play the Dodgers, he's expected to throw twice more from the mound, and that's all I have on him. I don't know. I mean, at least he's back in the bullpen on the mound, but there really isn't a time for him to come back anymore. So
Uh,
it's just kind of we're playing it out by ear now.
well, thank you for the Rodon update. I look forward to next week's
Yes,
and the next
I'm
week's
sure there
and the
will be
next
one.
week's.
Yes.
All right, let me talk this because this is a stat like I've never seen. This is a real like in-depth baseball stat. So, managerial challenges this season. So, obviously, a challenge that is asked for by the manager. This year in the MLB, the average of them being won by the team that challenges is 45.8%. The Miami Marlins are winning 92.3% of their managerial challenges this season.
My God, how many have they done?
I don't know how many they've done, but that is absolutely insane.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have like a guy in the dugout that's just really good at spotting close plays.
Maybe. I really couldn't tell you how that's happening. Maybe they're just getting some real bad umpires, and it's making their lives easier with the challenges. But
Yeah.
when I saw that stat, I was floored.
So in baseball, I know it's kind of like this in the NFL, or at least I think it is. But like, I know in cases in the NFL, like some players have told their head coaches, like when they go back to the sideline, like, "Hey, challenge this play," because I am 100% certain
Well,
In baseball, can they do that? Like, tell their manager, like, "Hey, like, you need to challenge this."
so they can't leave the base and do it. If they can stay on the base and be like, check it. And typically, what you can do is you'll see one of the manager, like either the manager, or like an assistant coach, he'll get on the phone and essentially talk to their guys that are like watching the game, and they'll be like, should we challenge or should we not? And then if they're like, yeah, then they challenge it, and then it goes to review. But a player can't leave the base, walk over there, and be like, you guys should challenge this.
Okay, gotcha.
But anything else that you have for MLB recap? I want to talk May statistical leaders.
No, Carlos Rondon's injury saga segment was my last one.
Okay, so we'll run through this real quick. So this is everything just in the month of May, nothing included from April. So our average hit, run, and RBI leader in the month of May is Dodgers first baseman Freddie Freeman, leading an average this month with a 446 hits, 28 runs scored, and 26 RBIs just in a month.
You love to see it out of him.
I don't.
Wrong team.
Yeah. But our stolen base leader for the month of May, Esteury Ruiz of the Oakland Athletics, he stole 17 bases this month.
Dang, how is he even getting on base that much on that team?
He walks a decent amount and hits a decent amount of singles, but he's really just very fast and the leadoff hitter.
Gotcha. Is he their best player right now, you think?
No. I guess I'd say no. I'd probably say it's either Brent Rooker, who I believe is injured at the moment, or like Ryan Noda.
Okay. Gotcha.
But also Shea Langoliers has been pretty solid. But home run leaders, it was tied 12, Aaron Judge and Jorge Soler. And then, of course, the walk leader is Juan Soto, because who else would it be? On base percentage, Juan Soto as well. Aaron Judge leads in OPS with that 1356 is what I've got it at here. And then for the pitchers, ERA leader, Michael Wacha. In the month of May, just a .72 ERA. And then strikeouts, who else but Mr. Spencer Strider, the stash himself, 57 strikeouts this month.
I love it. I actually I watched him hit 100 on Sunday. That was very cool. I was kind of waiting on the Braves or like the stadium to do more for him hitting 100, but no, it was just like any other strikeout. Kind of a bummer.
300's loading.
Think so?
Oh yeah. We're literally like exactly a third through the season, so it just works.
Oh wow. Okay.
But saves leader Camilo Doval of the San Francisco Giants. He had 11 saves on 11 opportunities.
Dang, a young guy in there too. I like that.
Yes, love Camilo Doval on this podcast. And then our whip leader Michael Wacha as well. Crazy enough, his ERA and whip are the exact same, which is wild. At a .72 walks and hits per inning pitched. He also led in batting average against. And then George Kirby leads in innings pitched at 40.1. Zach Greinke only allowed 3 walks, as well as Bryce Miller only allowed 3 walks. The rookie himself, who we cannot avoid talking about. And the Texas Rangers with the best winning percentage. They went 18-9, a 667 winning percentage in the month of May.
Dang, the Rangers, man. Who would have thought? What a weird MLB season.
I know. Like yes, they have made significant acquisitions and brought up a few great young guys, but yeah, that's definitely a team that I wasn't completely expecting, but then again, I haven't expected any of these teams to do well this year. Except the Diamondbacks. I expected the Diamondbacks.
Oh man, you've been calling both, man. Y'all hopped on the train a while ago.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man. Yeah, they're a fun team though.
Let's talk this weekend in the MLB. We've got a few fun series, not too crazy of a weekend, but definitely some series to watch out for. What's your favorite?
Well, bias, but it's always going to be a big deal when the Yankees and Dodgers play. I mean, two of the most like kind of
Certainly.
historical franchises. The one on the West, it's West versus East. And I feel like the Yankees and Dodgers in a way are kind of bless you by the way,
Thank
kind
you.
of they're very similar in the sense where they're kind of like the two historical teams of the MLB. So it's always a good series when the Yankees go out west. So
I love that one. Obviously, Braves D backs, a
oh
fantastic
yes.
matchup. We got Spencer Strider on the mound on Saturday. Friday, Charlie Morton versus Merrill Kelly. I believe we'll be lucky enough to avoid Mr. Zach Gallen, but can't avoid everything else. So right now, Braves 33-23, Diamondbacks as of today's win 34-24. This is going to be a fantastic series no matter how it goes.
Oh, 100%. And just kind of another one that I'm eyeballing right now is going to be LA and Houston. Division rivals, right? Division rivals?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Obviously, we just talked about the Angels, and I'm just kind of going to echo that. They have these young guys and these pieces, but they're going to need to bring it against the teams that have kind of dominated them recently. And that's, definitely going to be the Astros. So, going to be looking forward to this series.
Yeah, and then we also have Blue Jays and Mets, two teams that are just trying to kind of climb up a little bit in their respective divisions because Toronto is 30-27, but they sit in fourth in the AL East, which that's so tough because like they're 4 games behind the New York Yankees right now, who are in third, and they're still playing great. Everybody's still playing above 500 baseball. It is an insanely tough division to play in. So if Toronto can maybe get a sweep this weekend against the Mets, that'd be huge. But for the Mets as well, they're only a few games back in the NL East now. The Braves took a little bit of a skid, dropping 2 to the Athletics, which we're not talking about, and they're now find themselves only 3.5 games back. So this is a big one for both teams. I think Mariners Rangers could be entertaining. We've got Luis Castillo on the mound in Game 1, I believe. Yeah, on Friday. And then, of course, just the Rangers just put up runs. So that'll be a fun one to watch as well.
Yeah, I love it. And kind of another one here, not much to really talk about, but one I'm going to be looking at, Boston and Tampa.
Yep.
Yeah, at least matchup. That one's going to be definitely a good one.
Yeah, and I think Orioles Giants could certainly be entertaining. We'll see Logan Webb hop up on the mound this weekend. And look, this Orioles team is nothing to scoff at. They are absolutely insane. They're playing fantastic baseball. One of their best starts in, I believe, like the last 10 years, 20 years, 35-21 to start the season. Absolutely fantastic. I think last year they didn't hit 35 wins until maybe August, June, or late July, maybe mid July. So
Yeah, the
Orioles
Orioles,
just,
man,
well,
it's unbelievable. Like I remember you and I, kind of going into like our MLB 2023 like season preview. We were thinking, last season for the Orioles, it was amazing. They played for that, wild card spot there at the end. But, I feel like you and I and most everybody else was under the assumption that they were going to be still under a rebuild, kind of. The Orioles, I mean, crumbled that up and said, fuck you, rebuild. And, I mean, they're playing like they could be a serious threat out of the AL, even in the playoffs, dude. It's
yeah.
crazy.
And a lot of my kind of suspicions with this team was going to be the pitching, but for the most part, I've been very happy with what I've seen. They've got 2 starters in the rotation with Kyle Gibson and Tyler Wells that have a sub 4 ERA. And the emergence of Yenier Cano has been fantastic to watch, as well as Felix Bautista as their closer, who's been solid down there at the end. So I'm very happy. I think the pitching has surprised me the most. Obviously, I knew this team could hit. I didn't think that Adley Rutschman would be having the season he is, which he's having a great year. Kind of slowed down a little bit in this past month, but Cedric Mullins continues to fire on all cylinders. Ryan Mountcastle still hitting home runs, and really the base running prowess of this team as well. When you have Cedric Mullins with 13 stolen bases and Jorge Mateo with 15 stolen bases, it's pretty hard to deny this team.
Yeah, Jorge Mateo has elite speed, dude.
Yeah, it is insane. It's the acceleration that makes him so goddamn fast.
Exactly.
But I think this is a good time to get into my team of the month. We were gonna have Colin on. Unfortunately, Colin suffered a little injury at work today,
Yes, he did. Brutal.
so we are hoping for a speedy recovery for Mister
Yes, we are.
Colin Grant. But nonetheless, we must move on to the team of the month. We'll start in the outfield with one Aaron Judge. All rise for the Judge. What a month he fucking had. Oh my God. So he batted, we'll talk slash line to start it off. 342 average, a 474 on base percentage, and a slugging at 882. Good for that OPS of 1356. 2 WAR this month. He even had a stolen base, which is crazy. But what I love the most is the 12 home runs, 25 RBIs, and 23 runs. That's what gets it done. Those are the numbers we got to see. He's walking a ton as well. He walked 20 times this month, which is only 6 less than how many times he hit.
Yeah, you love to see it. I know kind of when he was first starting out, the worry with him is that, oh, he's, just a power hitter. And it's good to see now at 31 years old, he's at, probably the prime of his career. Once again, you can hear that on the microphone there through your headphones. He's been much more than just a power hitter. I mean, you just brought it up. He can walk, he can get on base other, ways than just hitting home runs. So he's really blossomed into what everybody wanted him to be.
Yeah, and when 63.5% of your hits are hard hits, that's a big stat there. I will say, between his walk and strikeout ratio, he's either walking or striking out just over 46% of the time, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the next outfielder, Loris Gurriel of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He had a great month as well. 8 home runs, 18 runs, 18 RBIs. Only walked 8.9% of the time, but not really a plate discipline guy. Picked up a triple, 7 doubles. Fantastic. Had 32 hits this month, a 352 average, an 1130 OPS. Just a fantastic month for Lourdes Gurriel and really just the Diamondbacks in general.
Yeah, had 2 RBIs last night, actually.
Yeah, he is killing it. And my last guy to round out the outfield, somebody that I arguably could have put at DH, but he has played a good bit of outfield this month as well. Jorge Soler of the Miami Marlins, sneakily one of the best home run hitters this season. Tied Judge this month in home runs at 12. Tied him in RBIs as well at 25. Only scored 20 runs, though. Had 2 doubles, not that great, but did walk 10% of the time, which is relatively good for Jorge Soler. A 982 OPS and a hard hit percentage of 45.2. Fantastic month for Jorge Soler.
He's actually walked 4 times in his last 2 games.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous. I'm surprised Acuna didn't end up on your in the outfield here, Grayson.
They're at the end of the month, like to end off, like with that Oakland A's series, it tanked him. I gotta be honest. Like I don't even know. I know in the first 2 games he didn't record a hit.
Oh no.
So that kind of slowed him down and held him out. But he'll be there by the end.
For
but
sure.
Let's move to the infield. I had a feeling that you probably figured this one out when we talk statistical leaders. But first base is Freddie Freeman. You get 46 hits in a month, you make the team of the month. It just happens to be that way. A 400 average for the month is crazy. 722 slugging, 1184 OPS, a hard hit percentage of 53.1 is so good. And 17 doubles. Like, holy shit. He scored 28 times, RBIs 26. He even stole 4 bases. Freddie Freeman stole 4 bases.
Dang, what has happened to him out there in LA, man?
I don't know. They must have him on some diet.
Yeah, diet's a funny word for PED.
I guess, yeah. I don't want to assume that of Freddie, though. Maybe he's on Ozempic like everybody else in LA.
Quite possibly.
But let's move to second base. We'll take this one down to Arlington. Mr. Marcus Semien, the big money man down in Texas, had a great month. Honestly, across second baseman, not a lot to choose from here, but still had a good month regardless. He does come in as the only guy with a sub 900 OPS at 898, just barely under, but under nonetheless. A 322 average, 385 on base, 513 slugging. But the one that got me here is the fact that he's getting 21 RBIs and he only hit 3 home runs. So he is just hitting the ball with runners in scoring position, as that is huge.
I love Marcus Semien. That's awesome.
Yeah, a fantastic player. And a newcomer to really just talking about in general, third baseman for the Cincinnati Reds, Spencer Steer. I'm going to be honest, I never really have heard of this guy before this month, and then I'd randomly see his name pop up, and all of a sudden, he's on my team of the month, but for good reason. A 318 average this month, 372 on base, a 573 slugging, a 945 OPS. Fantastic. But what got me here, 19 RBIs, 18 runs, 6 home runs, picked up a triple, and 8 doubles. Good for 35 hits as well. Spencer Steer had an outstanding month.
I love that, and he's actually playing live right now against the Red Sox in that Red Sox series. In 2 at bats, he has 1 walk and a double so far. Actually, hey, saying here that he struck out. I don't know how to read these baseball lines, man.
Well, nonetheless, he's off to a pretty good start in June. But let's continue down the list at shortstop. The Toronto Blue Jays, Mr. Bo Bichette. Of course, the guy is just killing it. He is absolutely killing it. I would love to see him walk a little bit more, only a 5.5% walk percentage, but keeping the strikeouts down, a 14.2% strikeout percentage, slash line, 342 average, 378 on base percentage, 533 slugging, good for an OPS at 911. Whoa. But
Not the crime segment.
No, not that kind of crime. We don't have a terrorism segment, and we never will. But
No.
only 5 home runs, still put up 20 RBIs, scored 5 times, grabbed himself 2 stolen bases, a triple, 6 doubles, 41 hits this month for Bo Bichette. Just absolutely killing it, and hair's still looking good.
Only 25 years old, too.
Yeah, dude.
Got a lot more Bo Bichette to see.
Certainly. And then behind the plate, commanding the diamond, Atlanta's own Sean Murphy. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I love this guy. Just absolutely insanely good. And so young as well. Sean Murphy is only 28 years old. He's only been in the league, I believe, 4 or 5 years. Yeah, this is his 5th season in the MLB. The guy is so goddamn good.
Yeah, he is, and he's on one of those Braves contracts, man. So somehow you conned your way into that one and got Sean Murphy on a favorable deal for him and favorable for, the fans and the Braves. So
Yes.
I'm sick of you guys, man. I can't believe Sean Murphy's on the contract that he is. It's unbelievable.
Well, I can believe it, and I'm sure grateful for it. 313 this month, average of 400 on base percentage, 530 slugging, 930 OPS, a hard hit rate just below 50% at 49.2. Picked up 1.3 WAR this month as well. 22 RBIs, 13 runs, 5 home runs, 3 doubles. I love the guy behind the plate too.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Just when you thought you couldn't get better than Travis d'Arnaud,
Yeah,
Sean Murphy.
I know, right? We just upgrade. It is insane. But let's move to the DH to round out the hitters. Yordan Alvarez. You just can't stop him. He is an undeniable force at the plate. 8 home runs, 21 RBIs, scored 21 runs, 7 doubles. He actually kept the strikeout percentage below 20%, which is very good for Yordan at 19.3%. The walk percentage is up at a 13.2%. OPS just over 1,000 at 1,005. And the hard hit percentage, 60.8%. Yordan Alvarez is just such a beast.
Yeah, a complete freak of nature. And only 25 years old. Amazing.
Yeah, and doing right by the number 44. I can always respect that.
Yes.
But let's talk pitching. I feel like there was no other starting pitcher to pick. Maybe you could have said Michael Wacha, but I had to take Nathan Eovaldi of the Texas Rangers. He
Yes.
had one hell of a month. He picked up one WAR. We'll start there. But an ERA at .96, 31 strikeouts. He threw 513 pitches, 335 strikes.
Wow.
Fantastic numbers there. Only walked 9 batters in 5 starts and was 4-0 this month.
I want to preface what I'm about to say by saying that I love Nathan Evaldi, but another guy where I can look at and go, where was it in the pinstripes?
Yeah, I'm sure Red
Oh
Sox fans would
man.
like him to play better as well. But
Yeah.
let's round it out. Closer, we already talked about him. It's Camilo Doval of the San Francisco Giants. My God, is this guy insane. 11 saves on 11 opportunities. He pitched in 14 games, 13.2 innings pitched, 23 strikeouts, only allowed 4 walks, 246 pitches, 153 strikes.
Damn.
Yeah, a Ks per 9, 15.15. Just an absolute monster.
Who do you think's going to finish with the better career? Emmanuel Clase or Camilo Duvall?
Oh, that is a tough question, man.
I would like to see them
Um,
just kind of dominate their positions for the next however long. It'd be
yeah,
very cool. I love
like
both of these guys.
we've seen Camilo Doval in the league now. This is his 3rd season, but still very young at 25. Emmanuel Clase, though, also pretty damn young. I'm gonna look it up real quick
I
just
think
to
he's
make
the same
sure.
age.
Yeah, 25 years, 2 months. Same age in his 4th season in the league. I don't really know. Clase did get a year to start, but only picked up 1 save in his rookie year with Texas, and then got sent back down for 2 years when he got traded to Cleveland. But nonetheless, since he's come up in Cleveland, he has been absolutely phenomenal. Obviously 42 saves last year. He's already at 17 this year. I think I'm gonna have to go Clase. Just I think his style of pitching could hold up for a longer time, rather than Camilo Doval. But obviously, both of them throw absolute heat. I just think Camilo Doval isn't gonna hold up quite as long, at least physicality wise.
Okay, I like that take.
But that is gonna do it for the team of the month.
That was a good one. I liked that.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys that I kind of fought between. Obviously, tons of outfielders that could have made it in. I could have argued, Nolan Arenado could have gotten it over Spencer Steer at 3rd. A couple other ones you could have argued for, maybe Will Smith over Sean Murphy at catcher, but I'm going to be honest, I just needed a Brave in here.
Hey, I like it.
All right, let's move on to the NFL then. Not too much going on. I got to be honest, but let's just start off with this story because I want to get your opinion on it. Jameis Winston, former Florida State, former Heisman, BCS national champion Jameis Winston, also crab leg thief, believes that he is still a starting quarterback in the NFL. What do you think, Luke?
I think he is.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
glad because I'm kind of in the same boat. Like he obviously went down with a back injury last year. We didn't get to see him at all after it, and now he's been replaced by Derek Carr, but hasn't hasn't left. So I don't know. Maybe a reunion with Tampa.
Possibly. I think Jameis Winston is that awkward case where you have an athlete that's, getting older and to be honest, wasn't really ever that good to begin with. But the meme, as he is kind of, regressed, he's 29 now, has kind of taken over him. And I feel like it gives him a bad rap. I mean, in 2021 with the Saints, I'm looking at it now. He had a 14-3 touchdown interception ratio. His passer rating was 102.8. He's very decent.
He is,
Super decent.
and he got
So I
LASIK.
like him. And he got LASIK. Exactly.
So yeah, I think he's got a spot. It's just where. That's kind of the problem for me right now. Is where is he going to find his spot?
Me too, because it seems like the NFL of today, we've moved towards like this kind of awkward, like it's very strange, but like I feel like everybody has loaded quarterback rooms. Like, you either some teams wouldn't even really have a second string guy, and now we're at the point where like sometimes even guys have like a third string guy that's like not a no name. So it's kind of interesting, and it really doesn't bode well for this Jameis Winston discussion. But to go back to the topic, yes, he can start in the NFL.
All right, I'm glad you're on my side. Let's
Sure.
talk about the Bengals. Zach Taylor said that they're only going to have one single joint practice. It'll be with the Packers ahead of their preseason opener. A reporter asked him if that means that last year's Aaron Donald helmet swinging incident, didn't ruin off-season or single joint practices. He said that's why we're only doing one day.
I remember reading on that, Grayson, and being like, no shit. You're gonna okay. The two teams that played in the Super Bowl only a couple months previous, let's let them practice without any cameras, any fans,
Yep.
except for the ones that can go. What the fuck's gonna happen? Honestly.
Yeah. I think it's more surprising that the Bengals weren't the ones that, you know, were swinging helmets.
Oh yeah, me too. Even though Miles Garrett played on the Browns, yes.
Fair enough. But
No, but the Bengals, it's that AFC North, energy. I get that.
yeah, but I will say Aaron Donald is just a beast of a man, so it doesn't surprise me that he resorted to violence.
Yeah, and I mean, Aaron Donald with two helmets in both hands, I mean, that's got to feel like a 5 pound dumbbell to him. I mean, he's swinging at that thing hard.
Yeah, that's like fighting like the combination of like Sandman and Hulk.
Yeah, exactly right.
But let's move on. David Bakhtiari, who I'm honestly surprised appears to be staying with the Packers. We kept talking about how he might get cut. Looks like he won't, but he was asked just kind of what his role is going to be and what he wants it to be with this Packers team. He said, whatever the team needs me to be. He said, they want me to yell and scream. I'll yell and scream. They want me to shut the fuck up. I'm going to shut the fuck up. I just want to win. I've been around the block enough times, and I want to win.
What an answer. That's exactly
Yeah.
what you want to hear as a Packers fan who just lost Aaron Rodgers. And even comparing what Bakhtiari has said here with, Aaron Jones and his whole like, taking pay cuts and contract situation, the Packers are in good hands with their offensive leaders, man. Those guys have some heart.
Yeah, I think we're in I think the Packers are in a better situation than, maybe they could have imagined with the departure of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, I'm glad to see this kind of leadership. And look, David Bakhtiari has been a big part. It's just about keeping him on the field. If he can stay healthy, he can be one of the best linemen in the league. But like the last 5 years, he just cannot stay on the field.
Yeah, it's been brutal, but like you just said, no, I know he's been hurt and off the field, but don't forget the last name Bakhtiari. He is easily one of the best tackles in the league healthy.
Yeah, and he can chug a beer like a vacuum.
Gotta throw that in there.
But
Oh
let's
man.
talk about their division rivals, the Minnesota Vikings. They made a great move here. They paid off the debt on US Bank Stadium 23 years early, which is going to save some Minnesota taxpayers $226 million in interest.
Wow, what a move
Yeah.
for the city. I wonder how
Yeah.
much credit that built,
Oh, man. They've got to have a perfect credit score now.
right? I want one of those Vikings credit cards. Sign me up for one of those.
Yeah, give me the team use card. I'll use it wisely.
I love that.
Let's see. Todd Bowles, head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, said that both Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask have been getting equal first team reps at quarterback.
Interesting.
So I don't know if this is a good thing for Kyle Trask or a bad thing for Baker Mayfield.
I was literally thinking the same thing. Like, I don't know if even Baker Mayfield like deserves to have the same reps as Kyle Trask. But Kyle Trask is a guy who has had like zero opportunity in the league. And
Yeah,
he was okay in college.
yeah, he was
So
for a year.
I think from like a outsider looking in, I think this is perfect for the Buccaneers. But if you're Baker Mayfield, I would honestly be kind of offended.
Yeah, I would too, but the fact that they're giving Kyle Trask this kind of opportunity is a good sign in his development.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, why would you draft a guy that came out of college like that and not really give him any opportunity? I like seeing Kyle Trask have these reps. It's going to be good, I think.
Yeah, obviously I hate Gators having success, but I can
Yeah,
root for Kyle Trask.
we all do. But yeah, we can root for Kyle Trask.
All right, did you see Jamal Williams' visor?
No, I did not.
You got to look up a picture. He pulled out the anime visor at OTAs, and I'm not even an anime fan of actually, I don't even think I've ever watched one, but this visor is undoubtedly cool as fuck.
Remember which? Let me. I'm trying to find it real fast.
Jamal Williams anime visor. Yeah, first thing that
Oh
comes
wow!
up. It is so sick.
You know what? I don't. It's a cool idea, but I don't really like how that looks. It almost looks too fake.
I don't know. I
My
think it's
opinion.
cool as shit.
I I don't know. Cool concept, but I think it could be pulled off better. I think that can be done better for sure. But
Okay.
he is God, you gotta love Jamal Williams, man.
Yeah, I think he pulled it off better than Miles Garrett's like Dragon Ball Z one. That one was shit.
All right, now I gotta look up that one.
Yeah, that one was from like 2019, but it was like instead of it like being put on like a reflective visor, it was like a decal with like a bunch of holes in it so you could actually see through it. It looks like shit.
Oh wow. Yeah, I am seeing that. Oh yeah, okay. Oh man, I kind of think I like that one better, Grayson. I'm not gonna
What?
lie. I kind of like that one better.
It's got to be so hard to see through.
Oh, I'm sure, but I just it's showing a picture from afar here where you can't really see the holes, and just like the colors on the backdrop of like his helmet just look really sick, in my opinion.
I don't know. I'm not a fan, but nonetheless, let's talk about this one. This is kind of almost leading us into the next topic, but we'll talk about one thing more in the NFL. But Harry Kane, obviously Premier League star with Tottenham, still wants to kick after his career. He wants to kick in the NFL. Obviously, a couple of years ago, this whole topic came up, and I believe Morton Anderson kind of just told Harry Kane to kick rocks. But Harry Kane,
Why?
because Morton Anderson's just like being a dick.
Yeah,
But I don't know. People just don't like the idea of this being like. I think kickers don't. I think they see this as kind of disrespectful,
I can see that.
saying that it's like, yeah, when I want to hang them up, I'll just go play football.
Yeah, but from fans like us, Grayson, who follow soccer, I could easily see a soccer player maybe retiring from soccer at like 38, 39, going to the NFL and kicking till they're 45 and being
Yeah,
serviceable at 45 years old. Easily.
yeah. Well,
Easily.
like Josh Lambo, former, he just retired. He played in the MLS before he started his career in the NFL.
Very cool. I actually never knew that.
Yeah. Um, but before we get into a ton of soccer to talk about, uh, obviously DeAndre Hopkins was cut earlier this week,
Ooh,
but
yeah.
where do we think he's gonna land?
Um, I don't know because I just read an article today, or maybe it was 2 days ago, that said that the Chiefs they believe that Kadarius Toney can be a number one wide receiver. I don't
Ooh.
disagree, but D Hop with Mahomes, man, or my personal favorite back in Houston.
Yeah, I haven't even really thought about Houston being an option, but it certainly is.
I mean,
I
Bill O'Brien
think
isn't there anymore, man.
yeah, I think that the money is a problem with the Chiefs. That would be the thing in the way there. Some people had said the Jets, but Robert Saleh just flat out came into a press conference. Somebody asked him about it, and he said, "I'm happy with our guys." And I there's plenty of places the Giants could, hash out a little bit of money if they're not going to pay Saquon. The Falcons could throw
True.
some money at him.
Falcons, yeah.
There's definitely some teams, the Ravens even, if they have a little money left over. I doubt it, but if they've got
Yeah.
some money, why not? Um,
What's your favorite though?
Obviously, my favorite landing spot for him is the Falcons, but um, I think an interesting one, and you'll probably like this one, is the Steelers.
I mean,
Deontay Johnson,
possibly.
George Pickens, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, and I mean Deontay Johnson. It feels like he's been on his way out every offseason for like his entire career. So maybe. But I gotta go with Houston as like my favorite and realistic, just because I think it would be really cool to see him work with like a rookie quarterback. I don't know. Did Deshaun Watson come after D Hop?
No, they had a couple of years together.
Well, what I'm saying is like, was D Hop on the team before Deshaun Watson
Oh,
was? He
yeah,
was,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So they were still kind of young at the time, so I don't really think there was a lot for D Hop to really teach Deshaun Watson. But DeAndre Hopkins, who's 31 now, with CJ Stroud, I think could be really, really interesting and awesome for CJ Stroud, obviously. And they just lost Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
So
they definitely could use help in the receiving game. It's something that I think CJ Stroud needs. As soon as he gets there, is a solid number one wide receiver, and obviously DeAndre Hopkins could be that.
yes, for sure.
But Luke, are you ready to get into all of this soccer news?
Oh man, there's plenty, and I am very excited for it. So let's
All
do it.
right. Well, let's start with the Europa League final.
Oh,
Unfortunately, Jose Mourinho falls short. Sevilla beats Roma on penalties. It was a 1-1 draw. Sevilla takes it 4-1 on penalties.
what a game! Mourinho finally loses a European final. That makes him 5-1 in European finals. He had come in 5-0. And Sevilla, when they're fifth in 10 seasons, their fifth Europa League title in 10 seasons. They also remain unbeaten in the Europa League final at 6-0. So it was really cool that both Mourinho and Sevilla kind of went into this final like, 5-0, which was, why it was such a selling point. And God, dude, I caught a little bit of that game, Grayson. When you put Roma fans and Sevilla fans in the same stadium, good luck hearing the commentators. What an atmosphere. I honestly wish I was there. It was incredible to just even listen to on the like live coverage of it.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this real quick because Roma, honestly, they lost the game for themselves. The Mancini own goal. First of all, beautiful shot. If he was the attacker, it would have been phenomenal. But
Right?
like perfect touch, goalkeeper had no chance. That that was great if he was on Sevilla, but he is not and fucked his team over.
Exactly. Yes. Big
But
time.
they also fucked themselves over in penalties because Brian Cristante scores his first and makes it 1-1 on penalties. Lamela steps up for Sevilla, slots his in, and then Gianluca Mancini once again fucks it up and misses his penalty kick. Ivan Rakitic steps up, makes it 3-1. Roger Ibanez misses his as well. That's three straight misses for Roma. And then Gonzalo Montiel steps up, slots his in, and Sevilla win it. If I'm Jose Mourinho, which we all know he was pretty mad after the game, I would be so fucking pissed at this team.
Oh, I would too. I mean, to play that well, and I mean to keep up with Sevilla the entire time. I mean, it was brutal. It really, was Roma's crucial mistakes that lost them the game, and those always seem to be the toughest to lose.
Yeah, it really is. But Jose Mourinho had some words for the referees in this one, namely after the game in the tunnel, speaking his mind to the referee.
I can definitely. If there's a manager that's going to tell the referee what he thinks, it's going to be Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, certainly. But when we talk player performances, look, both of these teams, it just kind of seemed like everybody played very well.
Yeah, it was very like kind of 50-50 ball esque, kind of like it was like watching the Italian teams play against each other. It was very physical, very like fast and aggressive in defense, and they I mean for the neutral fan like you and I, Grayson, I mean this fixture was absolutely a show. Sevilla and Roma put on a magnificent performance for all of us, really.
Yeah, and what a big win for Jose Luis Mendilibar, the manager of Sevilla, a career Spanish coach, like absolutely crazy. Started his career with UD Lanzarote, but Ibar from 2004 to 2005. Then with
Wow.
Bilbao, Valladolid, Osasuna, Levante, Ibar, Alaves, and finally making it up to one of the top tier teams with Sevilla. Like, this guy has climbed up the ranks of Spanish soccer and now winning a Europa League at the age of 62.
Yeah, you just it's been a long journey for him, but you like to see those guys pull through in the end. Another guy that I wanted to shout out, and I'm going to give Mancini back his flowers because oh my god. So Mancini kind of like recovers this through ball at like midfield and he kind of dribbles it forward. And Dybala makes this fantastic run, which Man City delivers, or Man City, Mancini delivers just perfectly to him on the through ball. And Dybala scored in this final with that magical left foot. And oh man, Paulo Dybala, you just can't hate him. And I love seeing him celebrate. It felt like I was back 5 years ago.
Yeah, it
Watching
felt
him for
like
you guys.
him just bursting onto the scene with Juventus because that was a fun time.
It really was. And yeah, Dybala has really been he's played great for Roma. He really has.
Yeah, he has. He's been very solid. Really a big part of this team's success in this Europa League. But I kind of want to talk about Jose Mourinho and kind of the aftermath of this because outside of him talking to the ref, there's been some rumors that maybe he goes to PSG this offseason, but it looks like he wants to stay in Rome.
Yeah, he it kind of seems weird, that you wouldn't want to go manage PSG, and it for especially for Jose Mourinho, who's bounced around some of the top clubs all across the world. Really, it's surprising to me that he wouldn't want to go try in France for the first time. But and again, there is that side of Mourinho that's taken Porto to a treble, taken Inter Milan to a treble, and I think although Jose Mourinho has managed really big teams like Chelsea and Man United, yes, I just included my own team there. Very narcissistic
Well,
comment.
he won
But
plenty of championships with Chelsea, so
yeah, he did. And he also made Chelsea. But Jose Mourinho, I think he likes the underdog challenge, man. And I really like that about him. And go through his whole career and look. When he started managing Chelsea in the early 2000s, Chelsea was a nobody team who just got bought by that Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich. Mourinho took us to top flight, brought in players that would last, and then left. I really think Jose Mourinho just likes that kind of underdog mentality. He likes going to the underdog teams.
yeah, he does. But he also likes to manage Real Madrid and Man
Yes,
United.
very true.
Well, is that all you've got for this one? Because I definitely want to talk FA Cup.
Yeah, we can move on.
All right, let's talk about the FA Cup final, the Manchester Derby. Luke, what's kind of your first thoughts with this matchup?
My first thoughts are I want to go over the injury report because there is a kind of a lengthy one on both sides. So Lissandro Martinez will not play in the FA Cup final. Donny Van de Beek and Sabitzer join him, and a new one, Martial, just got ruled out of the FA Cup final with his last Prim game. And they also still don't know about Anthony, but they're hopeful that Anthony will play. On the other side, Manchester City, Jack Grealish, he's hurt right now, but is expected to play. Ruben Diaz is actually uncertain. Manuel Akanji, there isn't anything for him. He's not expected. He's not uncertain. He's just nothing, just hurt. De Bruyne is expected to play, but he is also on this injury list. So very interesting going into this game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of this Manchester City stuff, if anybody's feeling a little bit banged up, I'd probably sit them because you've got the Champions League final just the next weekend. So you really don't
Yep.
want to, use up a guy and then make it worse. But I think that, in my mind, Manchester United still has a little bit more to deal with here because, yes, Manchester City could be missing some heavy hitters, but Erling Haaland's still going to be on the field. Like, we could see Phil Foden on the field if Jack Grealish is out. Like, there there is still such a good team that Manchester City could field. And I just think Man United, with Sabitzer and Martinez and Donny Van de Beek and possibly Anthony out, it's going to be tough.
Big time. And you kind of hit it on the head there. Man United just simply do not have the depth that Manchester City have, which might kill them here, but who knows? I mean, Manchester United definitely have more to play for. I mean, they at one point it was looking like they could be like a second place team. I thought, they screamed all the way up to third place and just kind of hung out there for a while. But I think they're a little bit hungrier because after Rashford got hurt, they kind of went on a little skid there. So I think you have a team that wants to win a treble, and then a team that wants to win the FA Cup for the first time in a while. I think so. It's and a Manchester Derby. So man, I can't wait for this one, dude. This one's
Yeah,
gonna be good.
it's going to be absolutely amazing. Um, I'm very excited to watch this, and I think it's mainly just because I want to see the excitement of this derby in a tournament. I think obviously it's insane in a normal league match, but when you see it in the FA Cup, I think it means a little bit more when there's a trophy there.
Yeah, I mean, and to that point, this has to be the first Manchester Derby played in like a final or a tournament setting, and it has to be a long time. Has to be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
long time.
definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
but this game, gosh, this is. I really haven't heard much about this FA Cup final, but this is huge. I mean, this is a massive game here.
oh yeah, like it means a lot. This is Manchester City at least attaining a double. Um, that would be
Yep.
huge. Manchester United would also get their second trophy of the year, though not a Premier League. Um, so a lot on the line here, but the biggest thing here is that Manchester City and Man United have not drawn in any of their last 6 matches against each other. So I think we could expect this one to be done in 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Of course, this game would have to be played to a result, but oh man, oh man, that's all I gotta say. It's just, I hope it's not a blowout though.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we get to see Holland. I hope they're not just kind of sitting him to have him fully ready for the Champions League final because yes, of course the Champions League means more, but I think, when you're fighting for a treble, you still got to field your best squad.
Sure, and he's got a week to recover, so
Exactly.
yeah, he'll be good. But a score prediction?
Uh I think City's got it. I'm gonna go 3-1 City.
3-2 City.
All right. It's hard to deny them, honestly.
Yeah, at this point, as much as it bums me out to say that they're gonna win, I like to be right on these, so I pick Manchester City.
All
Oh
right. Well,
man,
we've got a ton of transfer rumors and news. The transfer window opens in, I
oh
believe,
man,
2 weeks, but
let's get into it.
obviously, all of the moves get started now. So let's start with your boys at Chelsea. Mauricio Pochettino is coming in and starting his own thing.
For sure. I know the big two players out of that 15 that you have here that are ready to, be sent out. Pulisic and Mason Mount are probably the two biggest. And, with what we've seen recently with Mason Mount is it seems like he really likes Manchester United,
Yep.
which is a complete bummer. But
It is,
can
and
do.
it looks like those talks are advancing with Manchester United. Another big one that I've been seeing, Mateo Kovacic has been in talks with a few different teams. They're sending Yao Felix back to Atletico Madrid. Um, Quite a few things happening right now, but I think that Mauricio Pochettino has the right idea in mind. It looks like they're eyeing both Inter Milan's Onana and Villa's Martinez in goal. That would be either one of those pickups. I think would be great.
Yeah, I love both of those goalies. I just wanted to speak on the Zhao Felix thing for a second. And this one's just an absolute bummer. We had a guy come in from a Diego Simeone Atletico Madrid, and he's a striker. So basically a center back, pretty much in that system. João Felix, I really thought that Chelsea's style would unlock him, and he would finally be in a system where he could flourish offensively, which is his entire game. But that wasn't the case. And it's a bummer that a player who came out publicly and said that he would like to stay at Chelsea. He really enjoys London, is now being sent back to Atletico Madrid. But, I get it. He would have been expensive anyway, and he really wasn't performing all that well, in my opinion, anyway. So it's a bummer, but probably a good decision.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Let's continue talking with just all of these new ones. So Julian Alvarez, it's looking like he might sign a new contract with Man City, but I'm hearing that maybe Bayern is interested, but it looks like they're possibly dropping out. A few other Premier League clubs interested. I I think Julian Alvarez is going to end up staying. Weirdly enough.
I think he will too. And it is weird because a player like Julian Alvarez he doesn't need to be on the bench. It just so happens that he plays on a team that has the best players at his position. Really, I personally, selfishly, would like him to move, but
Yeah.
hey, I mean, he plays on the best team in the world right now, so why leave?
Yeah, and while we're talking about teams ranking highly in the world, the team with the most fucking money in the world, PSG, they're eyeing Arsenal standouts Martin Odegaard and William Saliba. It looks like Odegaard wants to stay. I haven't heard much about Saliba, but if PSG takes either of these, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I enjoy seeing both of these guys in the Prem. I don't know about you, Grayson, but I don't get many League games, so
Yeah, like I can watch them. Uh, I'd rather not. I don't really
you don't
care
want to.
about FC Metz versus Stade Reims on a fucking Sunday afternoon.
You don't want to watch the Farmers versus PSG.
No, I don't. Like maybe I'll watch like a Lyon versus Marseille matchup,
Yeah, that'd be good.
but otherwise, I'm not tuning in.
Yeah, I'm not either, but I'm surprised that we're not seeing Gonzalo Ramos on this. I really thought that with Mbappe kind of wanting out, and it looked like on his way out, I kind of thought Ramos, the guy out of Benfica, would be like a perfect shout for PSG, but I really haven't heard much about Mbappe's situation. I'm kind of going off of how it was like months ago. So
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about either of the two. I haven't heard much about Mbappe, and since kind of these seasons are wrapping up, I haven't really heard anything about Gonzalo Ramos either.
yeah, which you'd think you would, a small guy playing bigger than the club, dare I say. I mean, that might be offensive, but that's kind of just the way it happens in
Yeah,
soccer today. But
yeah, especially with
yeah,
Portuguese players, man. There's so many great players that come out of there.
oh, for sure.
But let's talk about Harry Kane. It looks like he's eyeing a move to Manchester United, but he said that if it falls through, he will remain with Spurs. So maybe in a similar situation as Mason Mount.
Yeah, but kind of reading through the prep sheet before we started recording, can you imagine Harry Kane and Marcus Rashford up top with Manchester United
And Anthony.
and Anthony? They perfectly would offset each other. Rashford is a guy who we've obviously seen can score, and he can dribble and assist pretty decently. Harry Kane is just one of the most raw and
Yeah.
consistent finishers in the entire world. I think they could be a lethal partnership up front.
Yeah, I think people have overlooked the fact that with his brace on the final match day, Harry Kane scored 30 goals this year.
Yeah, not bad at all.
And then you add that to Marcus Rashford, who I believe put up quite a few as well this season. Yeah, 17 this year in the Prem. Like, that would be quite the team up front. And then you have the playmaking ability of Bruno Fernandes, and even Jadon Sancho has been a decent assister. Christian Eriksen, like, there is a lot of playmaking ability on this team, and throwing a target man like Harry Kane up front would be crazy.
Exactly, but I wanted to talk a little bit deeper into Harry Kane with you, and it was something that I actually brought up to you on Instagram. And you sent me something about Harry Kane, and I told you a very profound hot take statement, and that was Harry Kane will never be the best striker in the world. But let me rephrase that so it sounds a little bit better for Harry Kane, because it's not because he plays bad. Harry Kane's awesome seasons have always been topped by someone else, by at least one or two other people. And it's kind of a bummer. And I think what it creates is, and even this season, you had to remind the people he still scored 30 goals, right? It's just because Holland's running away with it. No one's talking about Harry Kane. and how consistent he's been. And I mean, man, I hate sucking the dick of a Spurs player, but Harry Kane is fantastic, and he
Yeah.
always will be. But he'll never be the best striker in the world.
No, it seems like it points he can't even be the best striker in the Prem.
Yeah, I know you're exactly right. Especially this season, he was definitely hot and cold.
Yeah, for sure. But let's talk about this. One of my favorite players, on honestly one of my favorite teams to watch this season, Newcastle. They've offered Bruno Guimaraes £200,000 a week to stay in Newcastle with all these
Wow.
rumors swirling, with Barcelona and Liverpool linked to him. I really want Guimaraes to stay with Newcastle because what we saw from him this year and what we saw from that team as a result of his performances was nothing short of fantastic.
Yeah, I would too. But if I was Gumieres, I definitely Barcelona and Liverpool don't sound too bad. It's just kind of you got to break the stigma at Newcastle of players leaving, and he could be the one to do it. I think.
Certainly. And it looks like Vlahovic, of Juventus, obviously, has been quite a target for teams. Obviously, Chelsea has shown some interest, but as well as that, Bayern and Man United have emerged as competitors.
Yeah, Bayern and Man United can have him. I want Osimhen.
All right,
Give
fair
me
enough.
Victor Osimhen, please.
And then we've got Newcastle and Spurs battling it out for two Leicester players, James Madison and Harvey Barnes. I think that, if Newcastle loses Guimaraes, I think the James Madison could be a good pickup.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point there. Of course, they're kind of different players, but James Madison is a amazing, center midfielder or even a winger if you need him to be.
Yep.
And he was actually a player that I didn't realize, but a couple weeks ago we talked about, the possibility of Jamie Vardy going down to the championship. I totally forgot about James Madison, who may not be as big of a name as Vardy, but 1,000 times better than Jamie Vardy. Wow. He definitely needs to get out of there. Jump ship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And Harvey Barnes, a little bit more of like a rotational player if he does leave. But it looks like teams want him to stay in the Premier League.
Yes.
And then the biggest news probably that we've seen so far, Karim Benzema will join Al Ittihad of the Saudi League on a free transfer when his contract expires this month, and he will receive a 2-year, €400 million contract.
Uh,
I hate it.
Move somewhere we can watch you, man. It's already hard enough to have to rely on one or two, posts a week from my Instagram feed about how Ronaldo's doing over there. I don't want to see it happen to more players.
Yeah, well, it could happen to Luka Modric as well. Looks like he's receiving some serious interest from some Saudi clubs as well. So
Brutal.
this sucks, man. But the thing is like Real Madrid gets nothing out of this because he's leaving on a free transfer too. So like, just the legacy that Karim Benzema will leave behind, will leave you behind with no cash.
Yeah, and on top of this is I've even heard that Vinicius Jr. could be on his way out, and for him it's a little bit more of like a sad reason because he seems to be the complete brunt of attack of just complete dumbass racists over there in Spain, and I've never actually heard of this in my entire life, but Vinicius Jr. could be the biggest player to leave his team or the league because of racism. It's unbelievable, but
Yeah,
that has been probably the driving thing that I've heard with transfer rumors regarding, Vinicius Jr., and it's just complete bullshit, and I wish La Liga would do something about it.
yeah. It kind of is similar to Kalidou Koulibaly's departure from Italy. He was facing tons and tons of racism when he played in Italy, and I think that was a driving force of him coming to the Prem. So, I don't think it's unprecedented to leave a country when it's obvious that the fans there are just treating you like absolute shit and acting like absolute pieces of shit. But I
Yeah.
honestly wouldn't blame him.
I wouldn't blame him either. I mean, and go even further, I know Vinicius is a young guy, but, if he has family in Spain, you gotta protect them too, because sometimes those fans over there can get a little bit too serious into how they affect players' lives. But Anyway, back to the point. I have really only heard of big players leaving Madrid. No big players really coming into Madrid.
Yeah, the only one that's really been rumored is like Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, yeah, but we're seeing here Modric, Benzema, and then what I've heard is Vinicius. That's pretty brutal three players to
Yeah,
lose. I
and it
mean,
looks
they're all fantastic.
like Marco Asensio as well could be on his way out.
Yes, yep, him as well.
But let's talk about Neymar. Apparently, he's eyeing a move to the Prem. Reportedly, he's not going to leave PSG unless he's heading to Man United.
Oh, hey, Todd Bowley, Neymar had that meeting. All I gotta say.
We'll see, man.
Yeah,
But
we'll see.
I don't see Neymar leaving. As much as I want him in the Prem, I don't see him leaving just yet.
Really, I
Yeah.
I think he's a big player that is like 100% or he leaves. I really can't see him staying with PSG.
Yeah, I guess like especially if Messi and Mbappe leave, I could definitely see him leaving as well.
Yep.
Um because, originally it kind of was Neymar's team. When he got there, he was the guy,
Yeah.
and he's definitely been outshadowed in his time there. But I have a feeling if both of those two guys leave, he'll probably head out as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And then it looks like Messi will be leaving PSG this summer transfer window. So I believe it was confirmed by a coach at PSG that Messi will be leaving. And there's this interesting rumor going around that Barcelona is trying to pull this wild deal that would have Messi transfer to MLS club Inter Miami, and then they would send him on loan to Barcelona.
Could you imagine? Like, could you imagine?
I really can't. This seems so like far fetched.
Yeah, it does. But just the idea of what Messi would look like in the MLS, I mean, he would sell out every stadium he went to
Oh yeah,
easily. And
yeah.
that's I would love it if Messi came to America.
I would, but he would transfer there and then go on loan to Barcelona for a year.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yep.
that would be interesting. But looks like somebody is getting some attention across Europe. Liverpool, Man United, Barcelona, and Inter all eyeing Frenchman Benjamin Pavard amid rumors of his requested transfer out of Bayern Munich.
I like Inter here.
I do as well, but I think that Benjamin Pavard is becoming quite the name that
Yep.
he could end up joining like Liverpool or Man U. I don't like Liverpool as much just because they already kind of have like a very good defense. But adding him to Manchester United, I think would be a good move.
Yeah, I like Manchester United as well. I just said Inter because I know Pavard is like another like model wingback. If you're someone who wants to learn how to play wingback, he's a guy you should watch. Phenomenal at attacking, crossing, defending. He can kind of do it all, and Inter like that position. So who knows?
That is true. He would fit well. It looks like Arsenal and Bayern are the front runners for West Ham midfielder Declan Rice. Manchester United and Chelsea have shown interest as well. But I've also heard City as a possible landing spot. So Declan Rice looks like he could be on the move.
I like this one. Definitely needs to get out of there sooner rather than later. And I hate to say that, but just the way that it kind of works. Yeah, Declan Rice is he needs his flowers, and he's only going to get his flowers if he joins a bigger team. So
Yeah,
get
exactly.
him.
He deserves to be on a team that's playing for something.
Yes, exactly.
It looks like Manchester United are not making Wout Weghorst or Marcel Sabitzer's loans permanent. They will return to Burnley and Bayern respectively. Do you think they're going to regret either of these?
I think they're going to regret both of them, honestly.
Okay.
Of course, I've kind of been on the side of if Manchester United had Rashford with a better player than Weghorst, they would probably be a lot more dangerous. Maybe Harry Kane. We just kind of talked about that, but more and more that I kind of looked at the bigger picture, Eichhorst was kind of like the perfect center forward there. He drew a lot of pressure off of Rashford in that attack, and I think he played really well. And Sabitzer, kudos to him coming in January, mid-season, and he looked really good with United. So, yeah, I think Manchester United are going to end up regretting both of these, but they also have the money, and it seems like the will to want to go out and get bigger at both of these positions. So, who knows what'll happen?
Yeah, we'll just have to see, how this transfer window goes for Man U, but it appears just, off the rumors, which, only some of these are really going to come true, but it appears the Manchester United are eyeing some big talent.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they're tired of just, you know, mediocrity.
Yeah, I mean, when you
It's
go out
weird.
and get a
It's
player
weird to
like
say
Casemiro,
mediocrity. It's weird to say mediocrity when you're finishing in, top four, top six consistently. But for Manchester
yeah,
United, it is.
yeah, I mean, compared to the Sir Alex days, they're really nothing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think the signing of Casemiro has really kind of unlocked like a new transfer window idea, as in like a way to progress through the transfer window for United. So um, yeah, they're gonna go big this transfer window, I think.
yeah, and it looks like Brighton may have one of the first confirmed deals that will happen. Looks like they're going to try and get Dortmund's Mahmoud Dahoud in midfield. I think this is a great pickup. Brighton's just going to need to add depth to this team, and I think Dahoud played, pretty well for Dortmund. But I liked what midfield they were kind of throwing out there throughout this season. I liked, obviously Alexis McAllister, who's been linked to a bunch of teams. Iari is pretty good. I believe Solly March as well in the midfield has been very good. So obviously this addition just adds depth, and that's a big part of it. So I'm happy to see Brighton at least being active.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, kind of one of those teams where you wouldn't expect a team like Brighton to be active, but it's a team that needs to be active. They need to keep players rather than lose players, and if they're going to lose players, you got to bring in new players, and that's kind of what it seems like they're going to plan to do.
Yeah, and I think that's the right way to go about it. But while we're speaking of Brighton, looks like Liverpool is eyeing Brighton's Alexis McAllister, obviously World Cup winner with Argentina. Um, he's going to be a hot commodity this summer.
For sure. Definitely a guy that I could see more than just Liverpool eyeballing him, for sure.
Yeah, and just to round it off, newly announced, recently announced U.S. men's national team player Folarin Balogun is looking to leave Arsenal on a permanent move after he returns from loan, from his loan to Stade Reims. I believe he'll return next week. So I don't know where he could end up. He could really go a lot of places. It looks like Leipzig might be in there. I've seen, I believe, Borussia Mönchengladbach as well, and maybe a team in Italy. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, the Bundesliga loves their American players.
They do.
Kind of weird, but yeah, we've had a lot of Americans over there that have played, very well for their teams. So yeah, the Bundesliga, if you're American, probably not a bad place.
Yeah, certainly. And I love what Folarin Balogun kind of offers, as a player. He is so fucking good. And I would love to see him just go and shine somewhere.
Yeah, sure. And he's not going to do that at what did you say, Stad Rims?
Yeah, the team that I said I don't want to watch.
Exactly, but he's a guy that can get noticed in the Bundesliga for sure.
Definitely. I think that's going to do it. Any other transfer rumors you've seen?
No, man, I just want to get into this. Do you remember?
All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's do it. I'll let you start because you said you had quite the do you remember.
But mine's pretty long. I kind of
Okay.
wanted to go last.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go.
Right. Yeah,
Mine's
go ahead. And
definitely not too long. So let me just go ahead and set the scene. It's 2013, December 22nd. It's a Sunday afternoon, Charlotte, North Carolina. A little bit cloudy skies. Week 13, Saints versus Panthers. The rain is moving in quickly, and it starts pouring sometime in the first quarter. That really slowed down the Saints' pass game early, and it was Luke Kuechly's time to shine in this cloudy weather. Runs and checkdowns all game from Drew Brees, and Kuechly was having his way.
go.
Listen to this stat line: 24 total tackles,
Oh my
nine
god!
nine solo tackles, and an interception.
Damn.
Yeah.
It doesn't get much better for a middle linebacker there.
No. And it just is even more to this defensive performance that the guy right next to him, Thomas Davis Sr., he had 15 total tackles, 9 solo tackles, and an interception.
Oh my God.
Absolutely insane. But this game also clinched a playoff berth for the first time for the Panthers since 2008. And then, obviously 2 years down the road, they're in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, with Cam Newton as MVP.
Yes, sir.
I
Cam
like that.
actually threw the game-winning touchdown in this one.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What a game. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. That's insane. You said 24 total tackles and a pick?
Yes.
Bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, check downs to, I believe it was Darren Sproles.
Oh wow.
Just, Luke Kuechly was all over him. It was crazy.
Yeah, people forget how good Luke Kuechly actually was, but
Yeah.
Grayson, do you remember Petr Cech's 04 to 05 season? You don't.
No.
And I don't either.
I was
but
one. I was
we're about to
1 and 2 years old.
we're about to talk about it though.
All right.
This is gonna blow your mind away. Like this is completely ridiculous. In that season, Petr Cech logged 35 games in the Premier League. He conceded only 13 goals in 35 games.
Holy shit!
He had 24 clean sheets.
Wow.
Yes. In his 11 seasons at Chelsea, Petr Cech saw 1,241 shots. He saved 1,000 of those, only conceding 241 goals.
Holy shit!
We're not done. In his entire career, he has played 906 games. I think this is only Premier League. It could be for the Czech Republic, but I think it's only Premier League. In 906 games, Grayson, 397 clean sheets, 4 Premier League titles, 5 FA Cup titles, 3 League Cups, 1 Champions League, 1 Europa League. He's a 4-time Premier League Golden Glove winner. He has the most clean sheets in Premier League history, most clean sheets in a Premier League season with that 24, and the most Golden Glove awards in PL history with that. I think he has 4.
Wow.
That is Petr Cech's career.
Holy
And
shit!
to be honest, I didn't even realize it was that good, and I grew up with him.
That is absolutely insane, and arguably, the best goalkeeper to have headwear over Lev Yashin.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. The injury that Petr Cech actually acquired to get that that headgear for the rest of his life is actually brutal. You can
It
go and
really
watch
is.
it.
Oh,
It
I know.
almost killed him. It almost killed him.
Yeah.
And then he went on to have a career like that. I mean, I just can't believe some of these accolades. I did not realize he was that good. And like I said, I grew up watching him. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah. It really is. But yeah, just such a fucking baller. Like what? You said he had 24 clean sheets in that season?
In 0405.
Yeah. David De Gea won the Golden Gloves this year with 17.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Wow. That is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's the one I've been saving for you for a couple weeks was the Petr Cech one.
I'm glad because that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, Luke, I think that's gonna do it. This went by very quickly. I don't really understand how. We talked about a lot.
It's because we didn't have a crime segment in the NFL news, man.
I guess it is. Yeah, the NFL news.
We almost had a terrorism segment, but
We almost
we made
did.
sure to shut that down pretty fast.
Yeah, if Bo Bichette played in New York, it would have been a different story.
You even remember what it was? That's
Oh,
hilarious.
of course. But
Oh man.
yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us. You have anything to leave for the people?
No, I really don't. I think we're. I usually never have anything to leave for the people. One of these days, I will. Next episode.
All right, actually, you know what? I got a quiz for you just to end it off.
Oh, perfect. I love quizzes.
This one's NFL. All right, there's four teams with the longest droughts without winning their division. Can you name at least the top 2?
Cardinals
No.
without winning their division?
Yes.
Oh, Cleveland.
Yes. Cleveland is number one, 33 seasons.
Wow. Is it a AFC or an NFC team? Oh,
NFC.
Bears.
Nope.
Ooh, bummer. Is it an obvious one?
You just said a team in their division.
The Lions.
Yeah, they've gone 29 seasons. You think you can name the other two? They're tied at 20.
Tied at 20?
Yep, both AFC.
With AFC teams, okay. Let's see here. It wouldn't be. I don't think it's anybody in the AFC South because the Titans, Texans. Is it the Jaguars?
Nope. They won it
Yeah.
this past year.
Oh, they ended up. Okay, that's right. That's right. I'm probably gonna take too long. What's one of them?
One of them is the Jets, 20 seasons.
Okay. Jets. Who plays? Nah, go ahead and tell me.
It's the Raiders.
Ah, okay.
All right.
This makes sense.
Now we're getting out of here. And
Yep.
before we do, though, you listening right now, I'm not going to go through this whole thing again, but you that is listening, I appreciate you. And I appreciate you more if you are following on all of our social media platforms, following us on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, whatever, Spotify, wherever you listen to us, follow us. Make sure you download the episodes, makes us look good, and make sure you're reviewing the episodes because make us feel good. Appease me by reviewing those episodes because I love to look at them. But make sure you're sharing it with your friends. Just tell a friend. Tell a friend to give us a listen. Share the joy.
A friend. Go ahead. Sorry.
Share the joy that you get from listening to Second and Short with the ones you love the most.
Like it.
Luke,
Well said.
let's get the fuck out of here, man.
Let's do it.
All right, peace.
Cheers.